Fast cut montage, scrolling phone, tabs opening, a book closing unread, a clock speeding up. You've read this sentence in about 2 seconds. But if I asked you right now what you read 3 sentences ago in the last article you scrolled through, could you tell me? Here's the strange part. The problem isn't your intelligence, and it isn't your attention span being broken by phones. It's that your brain uses 2 almost completely different systems depending on whether you're skimming a screen or deep reading a page, and most of us are using the wrong one, at the wrong time, for the wrong goal. In the next 15 minutes, I'm going to walk you through what's actually happening in your visual cortex, your working memory, and your hippocampus when you read on a screen, and then give you a specific, testable protocol to read faster and retain more of it. Not speed reading gimmicks, mechanism-based technique. Let's get into it. Neuroscience secrets to reading. Faster and retaining everything you learn on screen. Why screen reading is a different problem. First, let's frame the actual problem, because most advice about reading faster is aimed at the wrong target. There are really 2 separate skills people lump together as reading. 1, decoding speed, how fast your eyes and visual system can extract words off a page or screen. 2, encoding and retention, whether that information actually gets consolidated into long-term memory, so you can use it later. Almost every read faster product on the market, RSVP apps that flash 1 word at a time, the point with your finger trick, subscription speed reading courses, optimizes only for skill 1. They can genuinely increase decoding speed. But research on rapid serial visual presentation methods has repeatedly found that once you push speed past a certain point, comprehension and retention drop off. You're not reading faster, you're skimming faster and remembering less of what you skimmed. So the goal of this video isn't read as many words per minute as possible. It's, how do you move information through your visual system efficiently and get it to stick? Which means we have to look at both systems together, not just one. Simple 2-box diagram. Decoding speed and encoding retention, with an arrow showing they're often traded off against each other, what's actually happening in your brain. Let's break this into 4 mechanisms. Eye movement, the inner voice, working memory bottlenecks, and the encoding to consolidation pipeline. 1. Your eyes don't move smoothly. Your eyes don't glide across a line of text. They jump, in rapid movements called saccades, and pause briefly between jumps in what's called a fixation. You only extract usable visual information during the fixation, not during the jump itself. Most untrained readers fixate on nearly every word, sometimes jumping backward to reread. That's called a regression. Each regression costs you time, and more importantly, it's often your brain flagging that comprehension slipped a beat earlier. Skilled readers still regress, but less often, and their fixations tend to span more than 1 word at a time, because peripheral vision picks up the shape of upcoming words before the eye even lands on them. This is foundational reading science territory. Keith Rayner's decades of eye movement and reading research is the standard. 2. The inner voice, subvocalization. Almost everyone hears the words they read in their head. That's subvocalization. Your speech motor system quietly simulating the sound of the words, even though you're not speaking. It's a big reason reading speed tends to cap out somewhere close to normal speaking speed. Here's the nuance. Speed reading marketers usually skip. You cannot simply switch subvocalization off and expect comprehension to hold. Some studies that suppress subvocalization, for example by having readers repeat an unrelated sound out loud while reading, do show faster decoding, but comprehension for complex material tends to suffer. Subvocalization isn't purely a bad habit. For dense or unfamiliar material, it's doing real cognitive work, effectively rehearsing the sentence in verbal working memory. The goal isn't to kill it, it's to reduce over-reliance on it for simple, familiar material where it's just slowing you down. 3. Working memory is a small, leaky bucket. While you're reading a sentence, the words are held in your working memory, a short-term buffer with famously limited capacity. Classic estimates put functional capacity at somewhere around 3 to 4 meaningful chunks at a time, not the 7-figure many people still quote from older research. This matters for screen reading specifically because screens are full of competing chunks. A notification banner, a sidebar, an autoplay thumbnail. Every one of those is a chunk fighting for the same limited working memory space your sentence needs. That's not a willpower problem, it's a hardware constraint. Reading comprehension on a screen full of visual competitors is mechanically a harder task than reading the same words on blank paper. Reading isn't storage, it's a pipeline. Encoding, consolidation, retrieval. This is the part most reading speed content ignores completely. Reading fast only helps you if the information survives past the page. What you experience as understanding while reading is encoding, it's temporary. Long-term retention depends on consolidation, a separate process that happens later, heavily supported by sleep, and it depends on how the information was engaged with, not just how fast it was seen. This is why you can read an entire article in 90 seconds, feel like you understood it, and be unable to summarize it the next day. The information touched your visual system and briefly your working memory, but it was never given the conditions it needed to consolidate. Speed without a retention step isn't reading faster, it's forgetting faster. Source: sleep's specific role in memory consolidation is one of the best replicated findings in cognitive neuroscience. Matthew Walker's Sleep and Memory Research Program is the standard reference point. The retrieval practice literature, Roediger and Karpika's 2006 testing effect studies, is the clearest evidence that actively recalling material drives retention, far more than rereading it does. The read fast and keep it system. Step 1. Preview before you read. Before reading any piece of material longer than a couple paragraphs, spend 15 to 30 seconds scanning headings, bolded terms, and the first line of each section. This isn't skimming for its own sake. It's giving your brain a skeleton structure to hang new information on, which reduces the working memory load once you start reading for real, because incoming chunks have somewhere to attach instead of floating free. Step 2. Widen your fixation. Don't just speed it up. Instead of trying to move your eyes faster, practice fixating on groups of 2 to 3 words instead of 1. You can train this with any text. Consciously aim your eye at the middle of a short phrase rather than the first word, and let peripheral vision pick up the rest. This directly targets mechanism 1. Fewer fixations and fewer regressions per line, without the comprehension collapse you get from pure speed drilling. Step 3. Selectively mute the inner voice. For familiar, low-complexity material, routine emails, news you already have context on, deliberately try to widen your visual chunking so sub-vocalization has to compress rather than say every word. For dense, unfamiliar, or technical material, let the inner voice run. Trying to suppress it, there will cost you more in comprehension than you'll gain in speed. Match the technique to the material. This is the nuance almost every speed reading course skips. Step 4. Kill the competing chunks. Before reading anything you actually want to retain, close every tab and notification that isn't the material itself. Given that working memory holds only a handful of chunks, every open tab is a direct, measurable tax on your comprehension of the thing you're trying to read. This single step often produces a bigger retention gain than any eye training technique. Step 5. Force a retrieval rep. Immediately after. This is the step that actually moves information from encoding into consolidation. As soon as you finish a section, close the material and write, from memory, in your own words, a 2 to 3 sentence summary before you look back at the text. Don't reread first. The act of struggling to retrieve it is what strengthens the memory trace. Simply rereading does not produce the same effect. Step 6. Protect the consolidation window. If the material matters, try to get a full night's sleep within roughly 24 hours of first reading it, and glance back at your retrieval summary once the next day. That combination, initial retrieval plus a spaced second look, is what pushes material from short-term recall into durable, long-term retention. Where this breaks down. A few honest caveats, because I'd rather you trust this video than be impressed by it. First, claims of reading several thousand words per minute with full comprehension are not supported by the eye movement research. There's a physical limit to how much visual information a fixation can extract, and claims that dramatically exceed it usually reflect skimming, not reading. Second, this protocol is genre-dependent. Fiction you're reading for pleasure doesn't need the retrieval summary step. Forcing recall tests onto a novel will make you enjoy it less without a clear benefit. This is built for material you need to use later: research, coursework, professional reading. Third, individual variation is real. Baseline reading speed, working memory capacity, and familiarity with a topic all shift how much headroom you actually have. Track your own comprehension, not just your speed. If your retrieval summaries get thinner as you speed up, that's your signal to slow back down. So, quick recap. Preview first, widen your fixation, match subvocalization to material difficulty, kill competing tabs, force a retrieval summary before you reread, and protect that consolidation window with sleep. Try this on one article today. Just one. Read it with the protocol, then write your summary from memory before you check it. And notice how different that feels from your normal scroll and forget. Frequently asked questions. Can you really read thousands of words per minute and still understand them? No. Eye movement research shows a physical limit to how much information a single fixation can extract. Claims of very high reading speeds with full comprehension usually reflect skimming, not full reading. Should I try to stop subvocalizing, saying words in my head, to read faster? Only for simple familiar material. For dense or unfamiliar material, subvocalization is doing real cognitive work, rehearsing the sentence in verbal working memory, and suppressing it tends to hurt comprehension more than it helps speed. Why do I forget what I read almost immediately? Reading creates encoding, which is temporary. Long-term retention requires consolidation, a separate process supported heavily by sleep and by actively recalling the material afterward, not just by rereading it. Does closing my tabs actually improve reading comprehension? Yes, mechanically. Working memory holds only a handful of chunks at a time, and every open tab, notification, or autoplay thumbnail competes for that same limited space. What's the single most effective habit for retaining what you read? Retrieval practice, closing the material, and writing a short summary from memory before rereading. This consistently outperforms simply rereading the material. If you want to actually apply this instead of just watching it, try the 6-step protocol on one article today. Preview it, read it with wider fixations, close every other tab, then write a 2-sentence summary from memory before you check the text again. If this was useful, hit like and subscribe. It genuinely helps this channel keep going. Health is wealth, and that includes the health of how you learn. So if you know someone who's drowning in tabs and can't remember what they read yesterday, share this with them. It might be exactly what they need to hear. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.